Hey everyone! Welcome to our Xin Zhao full gameplay jungle tutorial. Before we start, let's first talk about its runes and items. Currently, this is the ideal setup and feel free to use this as your guide. For better understanding, I will explain why this is the ideal setup. Going to the items, the first item that you will get is Black Cleaver. This item is good on Xin Zhao because it gives HP, damage, ability haste, and a armor reduction on auto attacks, which is very good for his kit since he's more of a tank bruiser rather than a hard carry champion. Then the next item I would go with the Divine Sunder, which also gives similar stats, which is HP, damage, ability haste, additional damage, and lifesteal, which is all good for his kit since not only it helps with his survivability, it also increases his damage as well. So Divine Sunder, one of the newer items in wildrift. This item is very good on Xin Zhao, and it's also a very good combination with Black Cleaver. So usually the champions that would buy Black Cleaver would also buy Divine Sunder because before Black Cleaver Triforce is kind of hard to do because it both involves a phage, which is doesn't stack, so it wouldn't make the item as efficient as compared if you go with a Divine Sunder Black Cleaver combination. So the next item that we would go is the steel plated stone plate. You could also go for mercury thread stone plate, but depending if they have a lot of crowd control, but caps plated stone plate is also a very good choice. So the reason why you get this is that you already have 2 HP items and stone plate increases your HP. So if you combine the HP items with even more HP, you would even get a lot more HP, which allows you to tank even more damage, especially with your ulti, which makes you invulnerable from targets that are afar, and as well as for those who are beside you. If there's a lot of people attacking you inside the ulti, you will also be very tanky against them. So the next one would be Sterak's Gauge, which is another HP slash damage item, and it also synergizes really well with the steel plated stone plate. This item gives more shield the more health you have. And since you already have 3 HP items, this has very good synergy with all of the core items that we currently have. So the next one would GA, which is our insurance item. Most likely at this stage, we would be going for the Elder slash Baron team fights, the game-ending fights. And GA would give us an extra life and give us more survivability. It also gives a little bit of damage. So the last item that I would go, this is a very flex item. This could depend on your opponents. This could be Randuin's, this could be Death's Dance, or even Force of Nature. It will depend on the opposing team comp, but Death's Dance is the most general item for this. And the reason why is that if you get a takedown, you get a lot of HP back, especially if you have a lot of HP items, as well as gives that good stats. So going to the runes, we go with the standard rune setup for jungle, which is the Conqueror. Since Xin Zhao can easily proc this, we go for Triumph. Since this is good, especially with the Death's Dance and with a lot of HP on our kit, we would get a lot of HP back. As well as Titan. Actually, this rune is debatable. We could go for Titan, we could go for bone plating or conditioning depending on what the opponent uses. So if they have a lot of CC, you go Titan. If you would like more scaling, you go conditioning. And if you would like stronger duels, you could go for bone plating. Then the last rune that I would go here is Pathfinder, which helps us gank even easier and makes us more mobile when going through our jungle. So that is it, and I'll see you guys in game. Going to the game, this is where I'll teach you the proper mindset, things to do, and what to prioritize when playing jungle Xin Zhao. So first and foremost, we need to know the jungle matchup. In this game, we are currently up against Jax, and in a Xin Zhao versus Jax matchup, this is favored to Xin Zhao in the early game, but once it gets to the later stages of the game, it goes in favor of the Jax. So what we need to do here is try to use our early advantage to snowball our lead so it doesn't get to the late game and try to delay Jax's item as much as possible. So starting in the jungle, what we're doing is a red side clear, wherein we clear the red, Krugs, and Raptor, then we flex our clear depending on the situation of the map. The first skill I get here is my third skill because this is the fastest clearing skill at level 1 since it gives damage, attack speed, and is the lowest cooldown out of the 3 skills. That's why I'll go for my third skill first. So while I'm taking my red, I'm looking at what's happening, especially in the bot side, because this is something I could possibly do, a level 2 gank bot. But luckily, Akali is able to solo kill the Pantheon, and this is this is really good for us since Pantheon has a really strong early game. We need to shut down Pantheon early so he wouldn't be a problem in the later stages of the game, especially in the dragon fight. After clearing Dark Krugs, I go for my Raptors. I get my first skill since this is my damage skill and it decreases the cooldown of my third skill every time I hit. So one thing to note when you're clearing your camps is try to always auto attack before using your skill. So auto first, so auto second, so you could save the animation. It could be, your combos will be a lot cleaner. So for example, in this Scuttle, third auto, second auto, first. It would save a lot of time and it would help cancel, it has a lot of cancel animation which increases your combo. So I see Akali using the smoke. So if Akali doesn't have smoke, most likely the Pantheon will all in this champion since Pantheon would win the 1v1. So Pantheon gets baited. I'm able to counter gank. We're able to get the kill. This is good for our team since it helps us shut down the Pantheon even more and helps the Akali snowball his lead. So currently Akali is 2-0 and when when Akali is fed, she could basically carry the game. Okay, so we go for our first back. I go for my top side. So there are two things that I could have done there. One is invade their blue. The other one is just go back. So I decided to just go back since it would be a lot safer. I use my red trinket. I see a ward, but I don't deward so that the opponent will not get a vision of me. So what happens if I use my sweeping lens is that the opponent will, the vision will disappear for the opponent, but they wouldn't see who dewarded it unless I attack the ward. So if I attack the ward, they will see my icon in the minimap. Most likely they will back. So if they have good map awareness and they notice that the ward suddenly disappeared, most likely they would just go back. But since the opponent is a bit greedy, so they tried to all in my teammates and they got punished for it. So this is good for us. We get a kill on the top side. We have a good lead overall. So I clear my top side. I see a lot of people in the mid lane. The Brand plays safe. He doesn't get ganked. Our Seraphine gets disconnected, but it's okay. No problem for us. We just keep clearing our camps. And what I'm doing here right now is to farm my cleaver as soon as possible since the objective will spawn at 4 minutes. And cleaver is an important power spike when it comes to the jungle objectives. So 1.4k, black cleaver, we go home. Perfect, we're able to buy the cleaver. And now we're looking on what objective we could start first. So there are two things I could go. I could go for the dragon or the herald. I'm confident with my team. I know I'm ahead. So I go for the dragon instead since it's an infernal dragon, which would help a lot with our team composition. So I go for the reward. Now I go for the dragon. One more reward. Trash hooks me, but it's okay. No problem. I have my team behind me. I look around. I see Ziggs. So I go around the blind spot. And we get Ziggs. So as you can see, what I did there is that the moment I saw Ziggs, I went behind the bush so Ziggs wouldn't see me. And once he gets close, I could easily close the gap. And we're able to burst Ziggs properly. So I start the dragon. Jax goes in. I have my ulti. I smite. And one thing that's nice about Xin Zhao is that you have high execute with the ulti smite. My second skill attack hits. And Seraphine gets a kill, which is good for us. So we get 2 kills plus a dragon, which is good for our team. I go home. Instead of pushing top, I decide to go home since number 1, Herald is still up. And number 2, Thresh might be able to defend the tower. I want to push my advantage. I want to snowball the lead. So a while ago, I helped bot lane. Now I'm helping the top lane. And now I'm going for the Rift Herald, which would help our team a lot and snowball the game even further. So Ziggs overextends. I wait for my cooldowns. He thinks that I doesn't know where I am. Gets the flash, but I'm able to slow him with my second skill. And we get a kill. Very simple. Very basic. So since their mid is gone, our top dies to Akali, but this is no problem since 1-for-1 trade. I start the Herald and one cute trick that I can do here is that I do 2 hits on the Herald and then my 3rd hit on the Pantheon, which would make an instant knockup since my first 2 hits I already used on the Herald. So Brand gets hooked. I try to help the Brand. I burst the Jax. I have my ulti, which denies Ziggs ulti. We go for the Kai'Sa. I have my second skill, but Akali is able to get the last hit. We get a good trade. So no problem, all good for us. No issue. So even though Akali and Brand dies, we get a 2-for-3 exchange. At 2-for-3 exchange plus Herald, we have a really good early game. We're getting our power spikes, and even MF gets his items, gets a tower, free tower on the top side. So I go back to my jungle, I clear my camps, and I look around where I could go next. I see an engage on the bottom side. I prepare for a bot counter gank or a bot dive, depending on which happens first. I check around. I see I gank mid, but I stay bot because I would want to get this bot tower. I see Pantheon. The moment I see Pantheon, I engage him. We get a kill. This is good, and this is good for us since not only we get a kill, we get a tower as well on the bot side. I get to save my Herald. I save my Herald for the mid lane. So once we get the tower, the opponent sees us at bot side, so they go for the mid. And they go for the top since they know where the bot side most likely we would go to the mid. So what they're doing, they're going to the top, they're trying to get the top tower. So what I do here is I use my Herald in the mid side. So we would still get a trade. And this would be a better trade because we trade mid tower for top tower, and mid tower is one of the, if not the most important tower in the game. We get it down, especially against Ziggs. It's so hard to push mid tower if there's a Ziggs on the enemy team. So we go back to our jungle. We have our Sunder, and this is a very, very good power spike for us because Cleaver plus Sunder is an OP, one of the best item combinations right now, especially for bruisers like Xin Zhao because it gives a lot of health and a lot of damage with the Sunder proc plus the Cleaver damage. So Pantheon, once we get our core items, look at my damage. Pantheon does a burst on me, but only Pantheon's burst only removes 1/4 of my health. And if you look at my damage, I'm able to burst him really easily. So Cleaver Sunder, very OP item combination, and it makes us a lot more tankier as well. So Dragon spawned, I know Pantheon's down, so I'm confident to start the Dragon. And one thing to note here is that we have our ulti plus smite combination. So when Jax tries to contest, we're easily able to execute this. So Jax goes in, I use ulti smite, no contest on the smite. I have my ulti, I flash out, so I need to play safe. Kai'Sa ultis onto me, but my cooldowns are up again. I'm pretty tanky, I'm able to tank a lot of damage. We burst the Pantheon, we get the Thresh. No, we don't get the Thresh, but we force the flash. I go around the Ziggs, but I don't want to greed because most probably Kai'Sa and Thresh is there and I would get punished if I would all in, which happened to the MF. He tried to greed the Ziggs and she died. So don't be greedy. Once you get the win, I already got the objectives, I already got 2 kills, so no problem. We just go back to our camps and farm our next item, which would be the Stone Plate. So Stone Plate, another HP item which synergizes well with the Divine Sunders and Cleaver, since Stone Plate would give us even more HP based on our HP. So we have a lot of HP from Divine Sunder, we have a lot of HP from Black Cleaver, and if we get Stone Plate, we double or even triple our HP effectiveness when it comes to the team fight. So I go back to my red. So I use the, when clearing, always third auto, second auto first for maximum effectivity. I see Jax and Pantheon pushing bot, so I try to look for the punish. I hit Jax, but one problem against the Xin Zhao versus Jax matchup is that Jax can dodge our skills, so I need to change target. I go for the Pantheon. I know Pantheon will die, so I go for the Jax, but I'm able to get Jax. But I'm a bit greedy, so I die. Luckily, my shutdown went to the Thresh. My team is able to get the Kai'Sa down, but we lose the team fight. So I'm surprised why we lost the team fight, and then when I scrolled my camera up, I see a random MF pushing top. So, you know, sometimes you don't know what your team is doing, but it happens. It happens in solo queue. So, you always need to check everyone's positioning before going into a lot of opponents. Because if MF was there, most likely we would win the team fight easily. So, I tell my team to defend mid since no one might defend mid and it's an important tower for us. We respawn. We lose our shutdown, but it's okay since we have a lot of items. We can easily get back our lead. Jax is 0 for 7k gold and we're up 10 to 11k gold. So no problem. We're still ahead in the matchup. And one thing to note is that the opponent has a really strong late game comp. They have Kai'Sa, Ziggs, Jax, which is a really scary team to fight in the late game. So I would want to increase our lead 17-14, even though we're able to win a lot of team fights, we're able to get a lot of trades, which is a bit problematic. So what I need to do now is to try to force some team fights and to counter gank to force fights. So I have my stone plate, which makes it really tanky. So I have my third plus stone plate combo plus ulti, which makes me invulnerable to damage. As you can see, I dodged the Ziggs ulti because of my ult, and I'm able to tank a lot of damage. My team is able to respond. We're able to get a really good team fight. They use all their skills on me. I get my Triumph procs. My HP goes back to half from 2 bars. Now half HP because of the Triumph plus the Divine Sunder lifesteal. So very good team fight. We're able to extend our lead. We're able to get a clean win, and that is something we need so that the opponents can't get back into the game. So I tell my team to get back since Dragon is spawning in 15 seconds. But solo queue strikes again. It happens. They don't want to go back. They get punished. They die. MF dies. They chase the brand. One thing to note, the only thing that you have to learn here is to not get tilted. Even though your team won't listen. If they won't listen and they die, just don't get tilted. Try to look at the positive side. I'm still ahead, and it's something I think we could do in the 3v5 since we have no more skills. So I go for the engage. I'm really tanky. I have my ulti plus stone plate combination. We get the Thresh. I look for the Pantheon. My second skill is off cooldown. I see Kai'Sa stunned. So I go for the exchange. I get the Kai'Sa. So Jax is focusing on the dragon. I try to get the dragon. I failed the smite, but it's okay. We win the team fight, and we're able to win the 3v5 team fight because I'm really ahead and we have a lot of DPS in our team. So Ziggs can't do it. Xin Zhao counters Ziggs a lot because since Ziggs is a long-range champion, we just press our ulti and he'll be useless. He can never ulti us. So since our two carries respond, we're able to easily take Baron, which even increases our lead. So even though they're able to get Baron, they're able to get the dragon and 2 kills. We're able to get an ace and Baron, which is a far bigger trade, which extends our lead even more and denies any chance of comeback. Because, you know, solo queue, things happen and people suddenly get back into the game. You don't know how, even though you're really fed. So I get my Guardian Angel. This is another key item for Xin Zhao. Not only are we tanky, now we have a second life. It will take them a really long time to be able to kill us, but this is no problem. And this build is really good because we have, as you can see, there's no tank in our team. We have Akali top, Seraphine support, Jax randomly jumps in. We try to look for the punish. We hit our second skill, but Jax is able to get out of the lantern. I should have ultied so to secure the kill, but I got a bit greedy. But it's okay. We still have Baron. We still have a big advantage. No problem. So this build is good because it allows us to become tanky and it gives us a lot of damage as well. So Akali randomly goes in, gets caught out, dies. So we're forced to go back. Seraphine gets caught. I go for the counter engage. I use my ulti stone plate combination. They can't damage me. Brand ultis destroys them in the backline. So we get a good win, even though it was a 4v5 clash. So we push the mid lane to it's a 3v4 in favor of us. Brand goes in, Brand dies, but we're able to get Thresh. We have a lot of cannon minions going to their Nexus. I still have my Guardian Angel. I have a lot of damage. So I do my 2 hits, then go to the Kai'Sa. The 3rd hit, I combo. Kai'Sa forces the ult, and we finish the game. So, this is how you play Xin Zhao jungle, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Before I go, there are 3 tips that I would like to share with you when playing jungle Xin Zhao. The first is using your combos properly. Xin Zhao has a lot of combos that you could use. Try to always use your 3rd and 2nd skill before the 1st skill to lower their cooldowns as fast as possible. It is also important to hit your 2nd skill while chasing, since this increases the range of your 3rd skill. My 2nd tip is ulti usage. Xin Zhao's ultimate is a key factor in his survivability. This can be used to soak damage or to disengage. Choose wisely when to use your ultimate because sometimes, if not used properly, this can help the opponent escape. My 3rd tip is survivability. Xin Zhao has a lot of low cooldowns in his kit, and this makes it spammable in a team fight. So it is important to always check your health and kite the opponent when the skills are on cooldown. Play wisely and know when to go in order to tank the opponents and create space for your team. And that is it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and comment down below on what jungle you would like to see next. Thanks for watching. Ciao, ciao.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless.